Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 524 of Geeks in Space. I am Rob Commander Taco Mulder. This is Bucket, and we are coming to you live on a slow news day where nothing has happened at all. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce to you two geeks who are going to talk about no news because nothing happened. Chris DeBona.
Yeah, I don't even know why we're bothering to broadcast today. I mean, what's really happened today?
Rob Roseboom.
Really, the most important thing is your cat.
That's me.
All right, so let's see. We got some fun stuff, and also we've got the actual story that we're going to end up talking about. Windows XP. There's a rumor that it's been leaked for a while. The source code's been making the rounds, but somebody finally built it. They had to strip out some subsystems, but it's for legitsies now. There's copies of XP in the wild, and I know not a lot of folks run XP, but your ATM still might.
That's true, right?
So we feel very safe and secure about this because open source is great. Unintentionally open source is not.
It's really not it's not the same thing, is it? Wow.
Nope.
I wonder, how long it took to build, like I'd imagine it's one of those like hour and a half long builds,
It's Windows XP. So the code tree's probably 15 years old, and the article says that it's missing some subsystems, so it's probably not that bad. How long does it take? Like Linus was talking about, he just built like some new fancy ass Threadripper machine, and he said he can build a kernel. How fast can he build a kernel now?
Yeah, he said that he would be able to build the kernel in under an hour now, like maybe as fast as 15 minutes, which is kind of great.
I mean, that's how fast it used to take back in the day.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the thing. It's like you get to a point in a code base where it takes a long time to build like that, and it's punishing for your productivity. So you end up going to, frankly, pretty extremes to bring that time down. I think, I'm on the game itself, Robert. How long does it take for them to build nowadays? It was over an hour, and then they finally upgraded their builds, and they're doing it under like 15, 10 minutes. But at Google, when you hit compile, for lack of a better term, it actually gets spread around to a number of machines. And so your builds happen very, very quickly, and your tests happen very, very quickly. But that's because you're using 10,000 cores, so it's just ridiculous.
This is why whenever I tried to requisition 1,000 cores for Bitcoin, that you would just laugh at me and say, Rob, you don't work here.
Well, I mean, you're welcome to pay Google Cloud Platform for your use of GPUs and those cores. I'm sure they'd be happy to take your filthy lucre.
That's right. So. That's right. All right. So scientists have discovered how to ferment coffee grounds. We can now have. I know, Chris. Neither of you drink coffee, so I guess this story is
coffee liquor.
Yeah.
There's already coffee liqueurs, aren't there?
Yes, but this is actually like fermenting coffee.
So it's more like coffee. Well,
it's like coffee beer.
What the proof is, right?
Yeah,
oh, it's 80 proof, so it's like coffee whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand. Will you, Rob, you drink a lot and you drink coffee. Will you explain to us, is this compelling? Is this interesting? Is this something you're looking forward to, or something you're dreading?
Well, Chris, let me tell you, I am an anosmiac. I have no sense of smell. And so therefore, my opinions on the flavorings of things is often suspect. That said, I am very particular about my coffee. Very, very particular about my coffee.
You are. You drive to a special place.
I drive
Not
to
Canada.
a place. I drive to a place 25 minutes away from my house every 10 days and buy 2 pounds of beans. Which I make in a fairly expensive espresso machine following a fairly extensive ritualized procedure to get exactly the cup of coffee I want every time. I would absolutely buy a bottle of this. But since you're the one who bought a bottle of Picard wine, you are in no position to make any sort of judgment.
6 bottles.
6 bottles.
No, wait. right? It's worse.
Yeah, so much worse.
I still haven't tried it.
No.
I still haven't tried it.
I mean, I'd for sure try it to see what it tastes like,
Yeah.
right?
Well, like I said, I'm going to bring it out. In fact, I'll probably bring 2 bottles out since we have enough people, and
At this point, yeah.
we'll have it. We'll have a tasting.
Yeah,
you know,
we'll do it in
and that would
Uriah's
be super
barn.
fun. Yeah, right. I mean, we'll all be socially distanced because we don't want to catch the Rona.
No,
But,
nobody's
you
caught
know,
the Rona lately. It's kind of nice.
yeah,
I feel like it's on the
it practically
downhill.
faded away.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
It's finally defeated because it was a fake disease.
I think some of the cold weather's gotten rid of it.
Yeah.
So
Remember how in April the warm
gonna
weather was
disappear.
just going to clean it up? Now the cold weather is just going to clean it up. It'll just go away. So anyway, when this stuff's available, I will totally drink a glass of it. I will, in fact, keep a bottle of it in my pantry until it is gone, but that's probably the extent of it for me. It's probably just a novelty. But hey, maybe it's delicious. I go through a lot of whiskey. So Irish courts have decided that Subway bread has too much sugar in it to be called bread, and it should instead be classified as either cake or confectionery.
So
it is one thing that people not from this country mention a lot when they come here, that bread
are too sweet.
is super sweet.
Yeah.
So, okay. I know I've told you about this before. But when I was working at Video Galaxy, we shared a building with a Subway. And I ate a lot of Subway when I was a kid. And it's at the point now where when I walk by a Subway, I get nauseous. And nostalgic, but mostly nauseous because the smell of that bread baking is not good. It's like smelling a corpse for me, you know? So like just looking at this thing, I can smell the darn bread and I don't want to ever again.
Their baking bread does have a very distinct smell. And it's one that is unlike when you make your own bread, which is one of the best smells in the world. You know, like
it is a nice smell.
Almost nothing's better than the smell of fresh baking bread. But Subway is not the smell of baking bread.
It's not bread. It's not even. I would say it's not even cake or confectionery smell. It is something else.
In Dexter, the dance studio office was approximately equidistant from the bakery where you could get delicious donuts and the Subway where you could get delicious donut sandwiches.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that story was funny, but yeah, you're definitely
it's a
right
great
about
story.
You're definitely right about the sugary bread. We get the Zingerman's, the fancy bread place. We go there. If you're going to be in that part of town, you pick up a nice loaf of bread. So we end up with a loaf of their bread, maybe once a month or something. And it's weird to me how this tastes like bread. But although we eat a lot of potato bread in our house, the kids like potato bread, but I feel like that might be
it's a very kid thing to like.
Yeah, that might be in a different bucket.
And okay, so this is ignorant of me, and it could be solved with a single search, but it has potato starch in it, I guess.
Well,
is that why it's called potato bread? It's not like because it's shaped like a potato.
Why is potato bread called that?
Potato bread, why?
Potato flour replaces a portion of the wheat flour. That's what they say.
Yeah. So it's a potato starch. Okay.
There you go.
Right. Okay.
All right. So I know that if you eat too much sugary bread, you definitely don't gain any COVID-related morbidity with the obesity that's associated with an increase in sugars and starches. So that's good. Nobody will be impacted by that because now the corona is cured and nobody has it anymore.
As a substantial American who goes to Florida from time to time, I'm not worried at all about the coronavirus.
No, when you go to the resort that you own and pay, and people pay on government salaries are paid to stay at, you never worry about that. This is a weird one because I really like the YouTube videos where they upscale old videos to 4K.
It's remarkable and fun.
The Moonlander stuff, the bouncing around in the moons, the moon buggies, the people walking around in the streets. And Peter Jackson did that World War I documentary that came out a year ago. And
that they shall not. Yeah, that one.
We talked about it here, in fact, on an actual episode that was not of the variety that Jeff deleted.
They shall not grow old.
Yeah, yeah. I liked that movie, and the thing that I liked about it was that it made it feel more real and more tangible and like more understandable to me to watch, without the scratches and the herky jerky motion from the old cranked cameras and all that. But historians are actually worried about this, and I'd never really spent much time thinking about this. And the argument is that that this creates a distorted view of history. And I'm not sure that I buy the argument, but it's an
These are
interesting.
just killjoys, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I understand what they're saying, right? You're looking at something that's an interpretation. The example that I liked in there was this is more like reading the transcription of the journal than the original journal. Because the original journal would be handwritten, chicken scratchy, feather, quill, ink, whatever. And this is, the restored video would be more like, the transcript typed.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what they're saying. I just couldn't disagree more strongly.
Yeah,
I think
right?
if anything, this makes it more likely that you are to embrace history and understand it. I mean, people like Stephen Ambrose, not because he makes things overly complicated and dry, but he brings in the human perspective and makes you understand how you as an individual at that certain time would do the certain thing, or it allows you to understand why things happened historically.
I do like that the article tries to draw up a distinction, which maybe is fair, which is the colorization. Because at some point you are making guesses. And, at least when you're removing scratches or trying to get missing frames reinterpolated back into video, like you're trying to you're trying to get something, close to original, but you're not inventing it. With color, you got to go and look at other reference photos. You got to, that's a harder problem to me, at least.
Yeah. I guess I don't see it as being a bigger problem. Like who cares if the color of the dress is wrong or the color of the building is wrong? Yeah. I mean, if you're going to go that far, then certainly don't look at any magazine or any book that has a color drawing of a dinosaur, right? Because we have no idea what color they were. We don't even know what their skin exactly was like. So should we not have a fully realized drawing of a dinosaur in a book anymore because it might be a different color?
I think we can all agree that All of My Friends Are Dead, the dinosaur book, is ethically fraught, because it has inaccurate depictions of feathered dinosaurs.
We can also agree that The Good Dinosaur makes a pretty good case for being the worst Pixar movie. But
I've never seen it.
Cars 2 is going to win, but Good Dinosaur makes
Cars
a run.
2 is going to win. Was there a Cars 3? There was a Cars 3.
There was a Cars 3, and Cars 3 is better than Cars 2, but Cars 3 is not good.
And there was an airplane movie, right? That was basically just cars.
Yeah, it was DVD.
Okay, but it was technically made by the Disney Toons studio, so it wasn't a Pixar jam. It was the same folks that would do Return to Jafar or whatever.
Yeah. I just want to say I think that this is ridiculous and dumb. I think it's totally okay. I think colorization, we had these debates in the 80s when Turner Movies was colorizing old black and white movies, and I get it, that people are like but I don't think the past is so sacred that we can't try to bring people into it. There's all these really amazing films of early cities in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and seeing those in color, which they then improve in resolution and they improve in the rest. It's, through enhanced scanning techniques and then the oldify, it's fantastic.
For sure. That was the Peter Jackson movie, right? The Peter Jackson movie made that feel like human beings marching
Yeah,
into
we will not grow
war.
old. Yeah, and they're upset about we will not grow old. It
Yeah.
distances people from the past. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, this is 100-year-old footage that he has made relevant for another generation. That's incredible.
Pressing the button.
You know?
But you know what? I guess what the thing that I kind of do like about this is that this is just a nice reminder that every industry, every obsession
Everyone's
has its third rails and has its like things that outsiders don't necessarily care about. You know, Star Wars fans will bitch until the end of time whether or not Han shot first. You know, we've got that. So I guess it's cool that. Historians can argue about whether or not interpolation of video is a problem. There's nothing else on YouTube. I keep scrolling through YouTube and there's no news on it about anything else. It's weird how nothing has happened today. There was something about Hope Hicks. So Asteroids, by the numbers, which is actually just a charming little story about asteroids, which mostly I brought up because Rob, I cannot tell you how many quarters I dropped into the Asteroids cocktail machine at Mario's Pizza, and I have to assume that at least at one point in your life, you might have done the same.
I for sure played Asteroids at Mario's.
They also, for the longest time, had Pitfall, and those were like the two. And I think for a while they had like a Millipede or a Centipede. Those were like the three games.
Although,
I liked Centipede. That was very good.
I will say probably Altered Beast or Golden Axe.
Altered Beast. I haven't thought about that.
Got most of my quarters through high school at Aladdin's Castle.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Was Aladdin's Castle an arcade attached to a mini golf place?
No, it was inside the mall.
In the mall. Okay.
Yeah. The Aladdin's Castle quarter eater for me was probably The Simpsons. I just loved playing The Simpsons. And in fact, every now and then I load up MAME with my infinite supply of emulated quarters and just run through the whole game.
Altered Beast. That was about a disease, right? That infected a bunch of people.
Oh, you were a werewolf.
Yeah.
Well, which one was the disease one? Corona.
Nobody gets diseases anymore, Chris. We live in a
thank
disease-free
goodness
utopia.
For modern medicine. But I think there was a game where someone got a disease. Yeah.
There's a lot of games like that. Anyway, this Asteroids article is fun. They talk about different things about like the speeds and the sizes of and the logic, the rules that they came up with, and it's just interesting to think about. You know, this is from back in the vector game era. And they actually got a lot done. But this is actually talking about like how big the spaceship would have to be. And one of the critical complaints in this article is that while the game has a lot of physical accuracies, like the physics are sort of kind of in the right place, the G-forces that would be exerted on a human body if your spaceship accelerated the way that the Asteroids ship does would not work out so well for you.
So I would point out that that's kind of like the anti-colorization argument. It's like, we can't enjoy this game. The G-forces are inaccurate.
Oh, for sure.
Like, yeah. Or I'm just going to shoot me some asteroids.
I do like to shoot me some asteroids.
Right?
So, what's her name? Hope Hicks. Was she
Hope
diagnosed?
Floats? Are you talking about the movie Hope Floats? I haven't thought about that movie in a long time. Let's see.
She's some lady that works in. She's some lady that works in Washington D.C. I guess she was diagnosed with corona like yesterday.
Huh.
That's crazy.
Wait, Sandra Bullock?
Yep.
Star of Hope Floats.
Star of the Net.
A disease?
Not Sandra Bullock.
No, her adopted football player son got it.
Based on a true story.
The Blind Side, sure.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So have you seen this week's The Boys yet? Because
yes.
it actually shows up on Thursday. I'm just gonna say there's one scene where they actually bring up The Blind Side.
Oh no, really? I haven't seen. This is the episode that came out last night.
Yeah.
Last week's episode was good.
Last night's episode. Rob, did you see it? Did you actually?
No, I haven't seen this one yet. I just watched.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you about the Blind Side thing because you'll miss it. It's only on scene for like 2 seconds. But I gasped like multiple times at the end.
I pressed the button
of last night's episode. It It's incredible. But there is one scene where the kid of Homelander and Patty Spivey from The Flash, um, is he's animating Lego figures and into really lame movies. So he's reenacting like The Blind Side, but
Like you do.
Lego figures. And Homelander's like, I can't believe my kid is doing this. We have to go do masculine things. And it's just like this throwaway scene that is hilarious. And yeah, so that's why I'm thinking about The Blind Side.
We were talking this morning about The Boys season 3 casting, because they got the guy from Supernatural, and he's going to play the Captain America analog, I think. So that's going to be.
Homelander was a Captain America.
He's the Superman, but
He's Superman.
And this is what we were discussing. Like, I always felt like, he was like, because he's Homelander, I always felt like he had a bit of both.
He's mixed, yeah.
But I guess in the comics he's purely Superman, and there is a Captain America who's apparently an idiot. And Kat was showing me pictures. It's like when he attacks people, he yells out the names of states as he punches them. And she showed me a picture of him like punching a criminal and yelling, Oregon!
That's fantastic.
So I'm super excited about that.
I only made it through basically the first season equivalent of The Boys graphic novels, so yeah, so I'm not as familiar with that one.
And just for what it's worth, I don't know.
What an episode.
Was it the season finale?
Show? Probably. But no, I don't think so. It's just it was.
I also watched the last week's episode of Lovecraft Country. And that show, man, they have done some really cool things. But this week, they like really lean hard into the Afrofuturism aesthetic. And they do like this weird like time travel, alternate dimension thing. I don't want to spoil it. But it has some visuals in it that you have never seen before. And it's really cool to see on TV.
Sorry, I was distracted by the episode guide. What was that now?
You should watch Cthulhu Country. Cthulhu
Nation.
Homelander.
Homeland Country. Yeah, sure.
Cthulhu Nation.
Cthulhu Nation. Cthulhu is like a Z Nation, but for Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Is it Cthulhu or Cthulhu? I always thought it was properly pronounced Cthulhu.
It probably was at first, but now it's entered the lexicon as Cthulhu, much that's what it is. Like Neanderthal and Neanderthal.
Yeah. Or coronavirus and Rona.
Yeah.
Yep. Rona got you down.
Yeah,
man.
I got.
Okay, let's talk about it. Fine. All right. Listen.
We made it 23 minutes 25 seconds.
Listen, you knuckleheads. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
let's see how long we can go without saying it.
Trump's symptoms mild so far. So yeah.
So it's 2 to 14 days, right?
Yeah.
So they have to go back and figure out everywhere he was 2 to 14 days ago.
Yeah. I didn't watch the debate.
Tested positive.
How far away was he physically?
They were more than 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
And Biden tested negative this morning. So there's that. But I mean, 2 to 14 days. So
yeah, it's got a long incubation period. So I mean, if you really think about it, remember Kimberly Guilfoyle, the wackadoo who was screaming at the thing. She had it and drove back with Don Jr. From some rally, and her and Laura Trump have been doing rallies together. So I think if you have to chart this one, it's probably going, sexually transmitted through the sun, and then, into the White House, and then Hope Hicks gets it somehow.
Yeah.
And then
she sleeps
Trump
on his couch. That's my understanding.
Yeah,
Well,
I
she
have
was in
no idea what her dealio
she was in
is.
a plane with him
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
a bit.
Air
So,
Force One.
Yeah. And there's videos of her like getting out a Marine one and stuff too. Like I'm
just
sure that has
full
very
of
clean
Rona.
air.
Yeah, and
Look,
honestly, this is like if Nancy Reagan got AIDS. It's like this is just like, oh my goodness, it's I don't believe in karma or an afterlife. You guys know this about me, right?
what's
But
the
it's
line?
like,
What's Bill
wow.
Murray's line? I don't believe in karma. Call it faith. Call it karma.
Call it kismet.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not like I was saying this to Rob before we dialed in. I've really tried to grow as a person and not like wish ill upon people, even people who might deserve it because they're horrible. But
Murderers.
yeah, I did see that there was a dramatic spike on Google Trends for the word Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Well, it's just weird that he caught it since it's all made up,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and it's a hoax, it's so weird.
for sure.
And that only really weak people get it, and he's so strong.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
Well,
that way.
he's got it's extremely likely it's going to be an extremely mild case because he's got remarkable doctors who feel like they have a duty to the president to give him the best care possible.
You know what
Right?
kind of
Walter
sucks?
Reed is not going to screw around.
Yeah,
they're going to do whatever they can.
The thing is that one of the
Grant.
Nope, you.
Oh no, did we lose Rob? Okay.
No, okay. So I would say yes, that is absolutely true. But it's not like Great Britain doesn't have medicine, right? And it took Boris 6 weeks.
Boris. Yeah, he was
to get out of it. He's a younger man and probably in a little bit better shape.
Oh yeah, much better shape.
So, I mean,
he's not, Homelander, but
it's what, 4 weeks till the election, basically. So
yeah.
Interesting. My network just bogged down enough that I've actually started dropping frames on the stream, which is like the first time that.
Yeah, you have some artifacts on my side too.
Yeah, I've never had that before. I wonder if that means like all of my kids just decided to get internet again.
Wow.
So, all right. When are we going to put out our pool, our betting pool on what's going to happen? Because there you go. Christopher just put
what are the stakes?
into channel the spike on the word Schadenfreude. I don't know what the stakes are. The statement that I've been making.
What's going to happen overall, or what's going to happen with him with his health?
So no, well, what I've been saying, and I've been saying this for like 6 months, is that I feel like Trump is going to get a second term. I'm not sure that he's going to serve it. I'm not sure that he's going to win the election, but I think he's going to get a second term. That's my crazy paranoid feeling. But I think I might have been burned by Nate Silver in the last election, so now I'm going paranoid the other direction, and I have no rational basis for it.
Like I said in the channel, I think it's a really rough road for him to win another election. And I think this pretty much sinks it for him, since, his path to winning requires all of his silos to stay right where they are. Right. And there's definitely a group who like him because he's able to call up fake science, fake news, and he's a big, strong, powerful dude. And this is going to blow that up for them. He's going to lose support in there, and he can't afford to lose support in that demographic. So,
well, you know what's going to happen. He's going to come out of this thing in a couple weeks after the debates have all long faded from memory.
After he's managed to somehow skip having to go to a second debate.
It's like, I have beaten this thing.
I am strong.
This coronavirus. I am strong like bull. Meanwhile, Mike Pence is going to do his thing.
I'm sure he'll say that, but at that point, the people who are so tied up into the idea that this is not real will have jumped ship, and it won't matter.
Well, they just won't vote,
Right?
Just,
So
They'll be too busy coughing.
I don't see how this is a thing to rally behind, right? There's no like not wearing a mask, fighting the government, all those things are rallying cries. Rallying that you got the thing you said
Isn't real.
is fake. is not anything to rally behind. So I think it's a net loss.
Yeah.
Even when he comes out through it.
I don't know, man. It's like I you know all those Trump boat rallies where like boats were swamped and sent to the bottom of the ocean. Mm-hmm. It's like people were still super into him after that. They don't mind him killing them. Yeah. You know?
Right, but they do mind him getting sick. They do mind it being real.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, you're probably right because like whenever he's had his like midnight, you know, escapades to Walter Reed, and he's like, "Oh, it was no big deal. Don't worry about it." You know, it's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
you know, you had some middle of the night visit to Walter Reed.
That's so not all the bad behavior, all the lies, everything has done nothing to change the needle. The only thing that has is the whole coronavirus and his handling of it. So I think that this shit show will hurt him.
But wait, a week from now, Donald Trump stands up at a microphone and says, "I don't know why they said to you that I got coronavirus. I didn't get coronavirus."
Yep.
Well, he did tweet it himself. He's the one that broke the news. So
no. Some staffer, you know, I fired that staffer.
Maybe.
I wonder if he'll go that far.
I mean, they've literally had no basis in reality. Like I remember like one of the very first briefings where they talked about the number of people that were at the inauguration. And there's just like photos and they're just like straight up just saying numbers that are clearly like wrong.
Clearly lies.
Like clearly. Yeah, this is like the first press conference. What I'm saying is that enough people were just like, "Yep, that's how it is." That I think that we were always we were always at war with Eurasia, and that's just how it is. And whatever he says is true.
For me, my favorite thing about the most interesting thing I think about this whole thing, not even getting into politics, is just how far we are willing to believe in a conspiracy now, because I have seen even in our channel and in the news and tweets now, a bunch of people saying, you know, how do we know he really has corona? And this just isn't his way of getting out of the debates. You know, we want proof of all this. Even this morning when I flipped on the TV, you know, I'm working, sipping on my tea this morning, 7:00, and the news show is like, the news commentator is like, they have to be very transparent and we have to find all this information because, you know, people are going to doubt this is real, you know, and that's the total truth of it is we have mucked it up so bad now that nobody believes what they hear, even people who I would consider rational.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And that's the thing I think that scares me the most is seeing people just like, well, what if he made it up? And what if this is all? And then like you play the 6 degrees of chess. Like he gets out of the debates. He comes back in 2 weeks and says he kicks his butt. Like, is this premeditated?
I would have killed him in those other debates, much like I killed him in that first debate. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
If true, he is absolutely playing 4-dimensional chess and we should all just quit and go home. But the fact that people believe that this is plausible tells us that we're hosed because nobody believes in anything anymore.
I mean, I would love to believe that it's true.
Let's break down yesterday. They opened with the jobless numbers that were insane, right?
Oh, by the way, Trump only spent $750 in taxes. Let's not forget that. Oh, wait, we did.
The last couple days, $750 in taxes, that absurd debate performance, the jobless numbers, you know, another one of his stupid campaign people gets arrested. 2 Republican operatives were arrested for fraudulent voting.
Didn't that one guy shoot a bunch of people?
Basically, he went down Fifth Avenue and shot some people.
They released the study that said this recovery is the most uneven in the history of the United States.
So Brad Parscale was put into a loony bin. Excuse my term for this. He was put in the loony bin for holding himself hostage and maybe his wife too. his campaign manager until like a week ago.
So absolutely
in the last 2 days, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got Rona, whatever."
Like I get it, and I would love to believe that that's what happened, but I just don't think they're that sophisticated, to be honest with you.
Melania Trump was recorded saying "F Christmas, F all this stupid stuff" in the White House, which I get, and like is hilarious, and just like, oh wait, gone. Maybe now we tell people I've got Rona.
Gone. And that's what I'm saying. It's and whether or not it's pre-planned or purely coincidental, it doesn't matter anymore. Oh, Chris, I'm sorry, man. You got to install a new filter.
I just turned on my filter. So it's like, I'm like, look, the West is burning. 200,000 people are dead. 7 million have had this thing. God knows how many people have horrible complications for the rest of their life.
I can't go see Tenet in an IMAX movie theater.
You can't go see a dumb movie about inverted time.
Something.
That's not.
Don't you spoil
nonsense. Me. It's just going to be nonsense.
The forest fires wouldn't be that big a deal if we just raked more often.
Yeah.
The dumb other effer said inject bleach. He said
he was being sarcastic, Chris.
As if being sarcastic. No, you were being an idiot.
And don't forget, they always talk about ingesting or injecting the bleach, but for me, it was the getting the light inside the body part that I always liked the best.
That's crazier. That's awesome.
I mean, you know what it was? I think he saw the movie Blade, and they had those bullets that were like UV bullets that were stupid. It's like, okay, sure. And he watched. Maybe he's the kind of guy who watches movies and he doesn't realize they're fake. Maybe he saw Dustin Hoffman in Outbreak and thought, well, we should bring Dustin Hoffman in to deal with the Rona.
Given his weird probabilities of retweeting white supremacists, I'm guessing that he just saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, for sure. He was really proud of those
boys that are standing back and standing by him.
I hope they're standing by him and catching the Rona.
That's not cool.
I mean, hey, man, if they're going to stand by their man,
Yeah, well, you may have been working on being a better person. Chris and I clearly haven't.
Downhill.
As we discussed this morning, I don't wish sickness on anyone, but I mean, there is some level where if you go out of your way to let people die and live miserable lives, then maybe that is the karmic wheel.
He's treated so many contractors, so many construction people, so many workers so terribly. There is a hole in Tampa, Florida, that is where the Trump Tower was going to go, that sat exposed and open for 15 years. Okay. In downtown Tampa. It's just like every time you drive by it, oh, look, that's where Donald Trump screwed over a bunch of people who live here. It's just like, the guy is he literally has distributed boils across the land, just destroyed lives, and then he gets the Rona after calling it a hoax. It's just like, wow. I'm like I said, I don't believe in karma, but there's some level of karma that maybe I should look into it. Maybe I should be
There's more to this karma thing than you thought before.
Yeah,
and make no mistake about it.
Am I secretly a Hindu? I don't know.
If you're president of the United States, decisions you make are going to kill people. Yeah. That's just flat out.
Absolutely.
If you're the president or leader of any country, you're going to make decisions that lead to people dying.
Yep.
Now, having said that, you should probably not go out of your way to have more people die than necessary because it's politically convenient for you. So that's where I'm at with it.
I mean, it's like, well, we're going to keep the blue states from getting the PPE. It's like, what are you talking about, you monster? You're absolutely right. Every decision is going to have a positive and negative when you're in that position of power. People are going to die, and your policies will determine who dies and who lives, right? So you should take it seriously. You shouldn't, make all of your decisions on the toilet via Twitter.
No, he's super smart. He doesn't need experts. He's smarter than all the experts.
I guess you're
that's what a lot of people are saying. That's what I heard.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on both sides saying that doing all your policy work from the toilet's a good idea.
So guys,
Yeah.
Well, you know what this really means. Let's roll this back. The vice presidential debate is going to be extremely important, right? Because everyone's assuming that these old men, Biden and Trump, are going to get the Rona and die, right? Because they're in the most vulnerable group possible. I mean, not Biden so much, but Trump for sure. He's an obese, old jerk who spends too much time on the can. Right. So those people are going to die of Rona even faster. So they're like, wait a second. So if our election is really about who's after these old people die, the Pence, Harris thing is going to really matter.
And this is why I think that this is going to be the net gain for him, because I think that he's going to gain more people out of the middle who like Pence more than Trump. But that's my conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
I don't believe anything.
That's
anymore.
not a bad theory. It's not a conspiracy theory, Rob. It's you're running the numbers,
And like I mentioned, I think Pence has such a negative charisma. He's such a non-entity that it doesn't matter. The people who like that Trump's a jerk would just not vote then or not vote for Pence.
But see, I think that's I think the Dems did the same calculus with Biden. Biden is boring. Biden is safe. Biden isn't going to fix anything, but he's not going to make anything worse. There were candidates on the Dem platform that could have made a legitimate effort to like maybe fix something.
I think that's the math they did with Hillary. I think they chose Biden because they thought he would be the least offensive to the swing voters.
Mm-hmm. But I think that...
And that's different than having negative charisma.
Oh, you think that Pence is worse than Biden, huh? For charisma.
Oh, yeah.
But remember, the reason the religious right voted for Trump, right, is because they thought they would get their Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And they got it, right?
Did.
So the far religious right, they don't care if he's got Rona. They're voting for that ticket. You guys know folks like this. They only vote the abortion.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Right.
And so they got their money's worth, right? So what's funny about this is the people who would not vote for Mike Pence, but would vote for Trump because he's their kind of wackadoo, they're just going to stay home and, inject some meth or whatever. So I don't know how people use meth, obviously.
Do you inject meth? Do you eat it?
I think people smoke it.
You can do both, I think, although it's more commonly smoked or snorted.
The only
you inject a lot of meth.
The only thing that I know about meth is that Heisenberg makes the pure stuff and it's blue.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, folks.
Wait, Franny is saying hi to the podcast.
Hello.
Crap, there's a girl on Geeks in Space. That's not cool.
Oh, you need batteries for your car.
All right, let's say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I'll be right there, okay?
Goodbye, Chris DeBona.
Goodbye, Mr. Mulder.
Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
I already said goodbye.
Everything sucks. This has been episode 524 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Mold. I'm glad nothing happened in the news today. Hopefully nothing happens by Monday.